Hello everyone, this is Ben here again with you, doing another video. This was requested by a viewer in my stream by the name of Shane. Wanted me to fly an American Airlines A321 from here in Philadelphia, which is where we are originating, going down to Orlando, KMCO, which is where we will land. So as you can see, we're in the American Airlines A321. It's actually the Neo engines. November 185 uniform whiskey. CFM engines. We're at gate Alpha 6 here at Philly. Our arrival gate at Orlando is gate 27. We have an alternate of Miami. It's about 7:30 in the sim. Scheduled departure is 8 a.m. 7:30 a.m. naturally. We'll be cruising at flight level 380. Weather isn't too bad here. The wind's out of the east, so we'll be departing off 9 right. Should be, which is here. Look over here. Here are the runways. The left runway is here. Well, this is 9. Yeah, 9 left, and then the far one kind of originates down there. You can't really see it, but we'll be departing out this way, and then vectoring ourselves. We are on VATSIM, however, there's no control at the moment. There's some centers online, but nothing for us here at Philadelphia. For those of you wondering about the scenery, this is Sun Sky Jet freeware scenery that is made by Sun Sky Jet. It's totally free. You can donate if you want, but none of this costs anything. You can totally download it for free if you wish. It's kind of borderline payware quality without actually paying for anything, which is awesome. And then the scenery at Orlando will be taxi to gate scenery, which they always have nice scenery. Rec soft clouds. What else? Active sky weather. I mentioned that we're on VATSIM already. This is the Aerosoft Airbus. There might be other add-ons that you're curious about. If you are, just ask. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But should be a fun flight. It's about 2 hours long. We have about 21,000 pounds of fuel. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good time. So let's hop in the flight deck and get started. Alright guys, welcome in the flight deck. Standard Aerosoft Airbus flight deck, standard Airbus flight deck. You can see November 185 uniform whiskey. It's the tail number. SoCal is Bravo Quebec. Echo Lima, not really worried about that. Let's get the aircraft powered, so we will throw our batteries on, connect to external power, turn on our nav and our logo light, arm the emergency exit lights, and start aligning the ADIRSs. Come on down to our ground services page. We'll connect external power, get rid of the GPU, and we will board. So take the load sheet. CG is 31%, which is what I set it. 111 passengers, so we're fairly light. It can hold 220, so we're actually holding just over half the amount that this plane can hold. Our zero fuel weight is just under 130,000 pounds, so we're actually really light. And we'll do an instant load and close up our door. So with that done, let's get our passenger signs on, get our displays on, PFD, ND, ECAM, so on and so forth. Right then, and we can hop on down here to the pedestal. We'll set 2200 as our squawk since we'll be offline, and we'll monitor Unicom, or since we're online but we don't have control, so Unicom and 2200 for default IFR. And we can get right in to the MCDU if I can find my easy dock. Here we go. Alrighty, we'll select the correct nav data and we'll initialize here the MacLeod. Philadelphia to Orlando. Flight number is American, and the flight number is 1728. Align the IRS. Cost index, we'll bump it up a little bit higher. Let us use a cost index of 44. Flight level will be 380. Since we're pretty light, we can go up high. And our block fuel is 9,700 kilograms. Or roundabouts there. It's just under 9,700. Flight plan, let's get all this in. So, the departure out of here will be off runway 9 right on the Philadelphia 9. So, if we take a look at our departure chart, unfortunately you guys can't see this, but fairly straightforward. Takeoff runways 8, 9 left, 9 right, 17, 27 left, 27 right, and 35. Climb on heading assigned by ATC. Then, expect radar vectors to first nav aid fix, maintain 5,000. So it's very straightforward. We'll just fly runway heading, vector ourselves over to our first fix, which is, if I come over to PFPX, is Oscar Oscar Delta. See if I can see what identifier that is. It's the Woodstown VOR. So first fix is the Woodstown VOR. Oscar Oscar Delta. And it's the one that's 14 miles away, not 9,000 miles away. Direct to Tebi, or Tebi. Direct to Hado. A number of just direct fixes here initially. Direct to Sierra Bravo Yankee. And now we join a jetway, so from Sierra Bravo Yankee, or we join an airway. I really need to stop saying jetway. It's totally amateur. These are airways, not jetways. I'm disappointed with myself. The J79er, a airway, not a jetway, to Katzin. To the J193, J193, to Weaver, then the J121, to Charlie Hotel Sierra, then the J79er, to Oscar Mike November. And that is that. Now, in terms of arrival at Orlando, let's take a look at the weather there. Orlando International, wind 270 at 7. So we're going to have a crosswind unless that shifts. That will have us landing 270. They'd probably, that's a 10 degree difference and a 10 degree so really it's a right on crosswind no matter how you cut it. So I guess we can plan on landing to the south, since that would be more convenient. However, if the wind shifts such that it's more out of the north, then we'll land north. But let's plan on landing south because it's going to be, it's going to be a crosswind either way. And let's determine if we should land on the east or the west side, because we're landing or arriving at gate 27. There's gate 27. That is on the west side of the terminal, so we'll plan to land runway 18 right. ILS runway 18 right, and we're on the Kroldad or Krold for I have no idea how that's pronounced, and then the Oscar Mike November transition. We'll insert that, and we will take a look at this flight plan and make sure it matches with all the various fixes we have in PFPX. There'll be a lot. So Woodstown, that's correct. Tebi, Hado, the Salisbury VOR Sierra Bravo Yankee, Lisa, Katzin, Cofield VOR Charlie Victor India, Weaver, Kingston VOR India Sierra Oscar, Bartle, JMac, the Charleston VOR Charlie Hotel Sierra, Millie, Beano, Ormond Beach VOR Oscar Mike November, which is the transition onto the arrival of the star, and then Sepin, or Lama Sepin Harney. Whoops. Oh, jeez. I wasn't looking where I was clicking. Well played. Sepin Harney, Crawled, Ramez, Mix, Knobs. Yeah, good flight plan. We have flaps 3, and let's take a look at what our trim will be. We have 31% on the CG, so our trim is going to be down. Looks like our it's down 0.6, it would appear. So flaps 3 down 0.6. Because, yeah, if we're 31% on our CG, that's roughly right there at 0.6, and we have flaps 3. V-speeds look fine, transition altitude is fine, we're done in the MCDU. So I'm going to set the parking brake, turn on our fuel pumps, and start the APU. Can set this to inches of mercury since we're in the US, not in Europe. And we can set the altimeter. Here at Philadelphia it is 3021, so we will set 3021. Like so. Initial altitude is 5,000 feet. Speed and heading will both be managed. We actually don't need constraints. We don't need constraints, nor do we need airports at this point. We don't have any particular altitude constraints or speed constraints getting out of here, so we don't need that displayed on the ND. Flight directors are on. That's good to go. And we're set, so we'll wait for the APU to start up. And while the APU is starting up, I can call over the ground crew here to get us ready for pushback and departure. We're going to be handled by American Airlines. And we'll want our nose to the right, tail to the left. And they'll come over to do their thing. APU is available. External power can go. Ground services, external power, chocks, and cones, all gone.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Beacon light on. Transponder set to auto. Fuel pumps are on. Beacon is on. Packs are managed. Transponder is set. Ground connections are gone. We're ready for push and start.
Departure check completed. Live has been inserted. Release parking brakes.
Brakes are released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start that wheel.
And we'll start number 2. And be able to see number 2 come up nicely here. N2's rising, N1's rising. Good stuff. See, there's some little issue with the textures here. You can see that lighting is kind of flickering in. Good start on number 2. Up comes number 1. Set the standby altimeter, forgot to do that. Here hydraulics go there. We have pressurization of the hydraulics. You can hear the hydraulic fluid flowing, that's good. Well, not pressurization, but we have hydraulic pressure. Alright, N2 coming up nicely. Should have a good start in just a moment. EGT's rising, N1's rising. There's a good start on engine number 1. Trying to figure out where exactly they're pushing us back to. Just kinda there. That works. Whoa.
Set parking brakes.
That was a bad call to set the parking brakes before. I looked down there to do the after start flow, which was ignition switch to normal, and I just without thinking set the parking brakes, and the plane kind of lost its mind there for a moment because they were still pushing us back. Well, that wasn't the smartest idea ever, but
Unlocking gear.
I think we lived. Is the plane still intact? Plane's still intact. Alright, we're fine.
Tow truck disconnected.
I'm sorry about that, guys. That was quite embarrassing. I was not thinking at all. Was not thinking. Oh well, we lived. My bad. Hopefully that didn't ruin the video for you guys. Ignition switch to normal. APU can go off. We'll arm our spoilers. Set our flaps to takeoff, which is flaps 3. Auto brake max.
Left is clear.
Come down here and set our trim to 31% down trim. Should be about 0.6 down. That's 0.5. That'll work. 0.5 down because that right there is 30. So 0.5 down. Let me just change this real quick. Down 0.5. Like so. Right then, trim set, flap set, spoilers armed, auto brake max, takeoff config is normal. Taxi light can go on. After start flows are completed, we can check our flight controls and then taxi. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudder. Full left, full right, neutral. Flight controls look great, so we will start our taxi on down to runway 9 right, and we'll go via Kilo Yankee Sierra. Kilo Yankee Sierra. Okay, so I'll start taxiing down the runway here. It's a long taxi, so I don't want to hold you guys up and make you sit through that. So yeah, I'll get us down the runway, and I will see you guys as we're getting ready to depart. Alright guys, welcome back. We're just approaching the runway. You can actually see there's some traffic here. This has to be from the scenery itself because I don't have AI road traffic enabled. But anyway, we can get our weather radar on. We can set our transponder to TARA. Whoops, I did not mean to get the lighting on. That was accidental. Weather radar on, transponder TARA. And we're ready to go. Final approach course is clear. And we'll run the clock. Now the A321, despite being, part of the A320 series, is a really long aircraft. So you gotta kind of bring that nose way around when you're taxiing because the length of the tail is pretty significant. Man flex, SRS runway auto thrust blue. 80 knots. Thrust set. V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Climbing like a bat out of hell right now. Alright, climb thrust. Go ahead, bug our altitude on up. all the way to our flight level. There's no reason not to. Not that high. 380. Speed checked, flaps 1. See the Woodstown VORs off there to our right. So we'll start to make a right-hand turn here shortly. Speed checked, flaps 0, spoilers disarmed, autopilot is in, and we'll start to make a right-hand turn here on a heading of 210, and then we will proceed direct to the Woodstown VOR. Direct to Woodstown. Insert that. And there we are. Runway turnoffs off. Nose gear light off. We'll get our fixed landing lights at 10K. Rest of our lights remain on. So, gear up, auto brake off, flaps retracted, spoilers disarmed, and we'll get our lights at 10K. And we're off. Oh yeah, if you see that purple, it's a little glitch with the scenery. It's not entirely designed for P3D, so that's why you see that, but it's you know, try your best not to mind that. We'll just do that. Bit bumpy on the way out. I'll say that much. Really bumpy, in fact. Quite turbulent. Alright, 10,000 feet. Landing lights can go off. And we'll accelerate through 250 knots, since we're above 10K. And we'll reset our altimeter at 18,000. So we're out of Philadelphia and off to Orlando. If I expand the range there on the ND, you can see our routing. So, should be a fun flight. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you all. I'll check in as we're getting ready to prepare for our descent. So, yeah, enjoy the flight, guys, and I will see you shortly. Alright guys, welcome back. So, about 80 miles from our top of descent, so we will brief everything, and then, we will begin descent shortly. So, first things first, let us get down into the MCDU and check out our routing. So, Ormond Beach to cross Llama, we're landing south, so it's going to be 12,250 knots. Ooh, this will be interesting. We might have to descend like immediately, so let's see what happens here. This is why you should set your altitude constraints a bit earlier. Yep, see top of descent is now less than 40 yet. Okay, so we'll cross Llama at 250 knots, 12,000 feet. Inbound to Seppin, to Harney, to Crawled. So after Crawled, MCO landing south. Expect radar vectors after Crawled. So after Crawled here, if I go down one more, there it is. At that point, we can expect radar vectors. So I can delete all the fixes after Crawled. So knobs can go, mix can go, Ramez can go, and we'll just fly ourselves a heading here after Crawled right onto the ILS. So good stuff. That is now fine. Going to reset our MCP altitude down to 12,000 feet. So that is now done. ILS frequency and course. It's 18 right. The identifier is India, Tango, Foxtrot, Echo. And the inbound course is 185. That is done. We'll put in some information here with regard to the weather. 2972 is the altimeter. Temperature is 19er. Wind is 260 at 8. Transition altitude, of course, is 18,000. We'll be landing flaps full, and our barometric minimums are 294. So the MCDU is ready to go. And we got 14 miles till top of descent. I'll get the passenger signs on, put away the tray table, turn on constraints here on the ND. Let's see, how long's the runway? 12,000 feet, so an auto brake of low will be just fine. We'll use an auto brake setting of low. Minimums are set. ILS frequency and course in. MCP altitude's been reset. We've briefed the approach and the information is properly in, and we can just take a quick look at our landing speed. Looks like our landing speed will be about 133 knots. So, 10 miles till top of descent. We'll start down now. And again, if we zoom in on the ND here, you can see we're going to track to the Ormond Beach VOR. Series of fixes there, and then we'll end up at Crawled, and there you can actually see is the ILS approach starts right there, so we'll come over Crawled and basically just continue to fly that heading to intersect on the final. So we won't be up here for too much longer. Enjoy the descent, and I will see you guys as we're getting ready to land. Alright guys, welcome back. So we're just descending now through 14,000 feet. We're about just over 40 miles from the field, so we're getting close. As you can see, we're going to need a bit of speed brake because the plane's wanting to descend quite quickly, so it's gaining speed. So we're just going to use a bit of speed brake to help keep the speed down, give us plenty of time to react as we're coming in on the arrival. You don't want to get behind the plane, and keeping the speed down, or at least where it should be, is a good way of staying ahead of the plane. And also we're going to have our deceleration to 250 knots as we're coming up on 10,000 feet, so it's another good reason to see about keeping that speed on the lower end. What I will do here is we're going to level off at 12,000 feet here, so I'll actually keep it at 12,000 once we're over Llama there. And you can see we have our decel to 250 now. Because we need to hit Llama at 250 knots, so speed slowly coming down very nicely. And in fact, we don't need quite as much speed brake. I can very slowly begin to put that away. Maybe keep just a bit out. And then after Llama, I will drop us down. Let's have a look here. Drop us down to 3,000 feet. Just do an open descent on down. Yeah, speed brake's still out just a touch, so we'll put that away in its entirety. And I apologize if you guys notice that it's a little stuttery. I apologize for that. Fraps almost always just records P3D and nothing else. But today I noticed it is capturing the entire monitor and everything that pops up. So what that means is the frames are going to be worse. It's going to be a bit more stuttery. So I apologize in advance for that. Future videos won't be like this. I'll have it such that it just captures P3D, but for some reason it isn't behaving today. So because of that, the frames and just the overall aesthetic will be a bit slower, a bit more stuttery. So yeah, apologies for that in advance, because you may or may not notice it, but if you do, yeah, my bad. Won't be an issue going forward. If you don't notice it, great. Have a nice 1,600 foot per minute descent going, which is what we're looking for. Just about 30 miles from the field now. We'll keep our speed at 250 till we're around Harney or crawled, and then we'll drop it down to about 180, 210 knots or so. Have 4,800 kilos of fuel left, which is plenty. And we're coming up on 10,000 feet, so I'll get our landing system on. And as we pass through 10,000, I will turn on our fixed landing lights. Alright then. Landing lights on. I'm going to pull out a little bit of speed brake. Excuse me. Just to help us get a bit of a quicker descent going down. We don't need a lot, just a touch. Because I think we're going to be a little bit high as is. It looks like Florida, kind of swampy. You know, rather green in certain areas, not so green in other areas. That's kind of Florida for you. But lots of water, kind of marshland, swamp. Alrighty, right-hand turn here towards crawled, and then it basically gives us, we're kind of on a, kind of a base leg here. Not entirely, it's not really a full pattern by any means. And I think I'm just going to VS us here and give us about 1,200 feet per minute. And start to drop our speed down to about 210. Then after crawled, what I will do is we'll fly a heading of about we'll fly a heading at 250 here after crawled. That'll be good for us. See, we're actually picking up both the localizer and the glide slope now. We're just a little bit above the glide. Or rather a little bit below the glide. Alright, 250 on the heading. Speed's coming down nicely. Speed checked, flaps 1. Keep the speed going down to 180 knots now. Speed slowly creeping down. Yeah, now it's starting to drop nicely. One last weather check. Altimeter is still 29.72. Wind is still 260 at 7 knots. Our pressure's set. Yeah, pressure set. Fixed landing lights on. Flaps currently set. Flaps 1. And we'll take flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. Shallow at our descent just a bit there. Seeing some part of a city. I wonder if that's downtown Orlando out there. I'm not familiar with the Orlando area, so I'm not entirely sure. And we'll get ready to make our left-hand turn here to intercept the localizer. Little bumpy coming in. There's a little unsettled, but not too bad. Not too bad. So our inbound course is 185. So if we take a heading of 220, that'll give us an intercept heading of 30 degrees, so that'll work for us. Take approach. Can make it 215 even. Make it slightly less severe of an angle, so that's 30 degrees, which is totally fine. Just about 10 miles from the field. So we roll out, we should just be starting to get the field in sight. Alrighty, we got the loc. Localizer is captured. Yep, there's the field. You can see it out there now. And glide slope is captured. Speed checked, flaps 3. Just make sure there's nobody on the ground at Orlando who we might have to deal with. Who's on VATSIM? No, there is not, so we're good to go.
2,500.
Checked. Rolling out. Gear down. Spoilers armed. Get the rest of our lights on. Assume that we're cleared. Activate our approach phase. Just now over tough. Reduce down to final approach speed. Speed checked, flaps full. Right then. Pressure set. All of our lights are on. Flaps are set, flap full. Speed brake armed, gear down. VREF speed is set, and our go around altitude is 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet is set. We are fully configured to land, and I will take control of the aircraft. Never have been great landing the A321 because it's so long, but I will give it a go. Fingers crossed that it turns out well. We do have a bit of a crosswind from the right, so we'll be having to deal with that. So, let's do it. Autopilot is out. It is my aircraft. Get rid of the flight director and constraints on the MD. I'm actually going to bump our approach speed up just a couple knots. Checked. We're stable and continuing. There's that crosswind. Just kicked up to 7 knots there and started to blow us a bit. 500 feet checked.
400.
So you can see we're crabbing into that wind a bit. We'll need to kick the rudder there.
300. 100 above. 200. Minimum.
Landing.
100. 70. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 10. 5.
Oh, we're fighting it. There we go. We're down. Reversers are green. That was not a great landing, but we got down safely. Alrighty, decel. 80 knots. Reverser stowed. $60 knots, manually braking. And we'll get off to the right here at Echo, or left here at Echo, rather. And how will we taxi on in? We'll take Echo to Bravo and take Bravo to the ramp, or gate. Start up the APU. Weather radar can go on. We could take Zulu here. Yeah, let's take Zulu actually. We'll taxi via Zulu. Weather radar, transponder. Right then, lights off, auto brakes off, speed brake, and the flaps are stowed. Transponder is set auto, APU's been started. We can stop the clock. That was 1 hour and 53 minutes. And flight director's landing system, weather radar, all that is off. So we're going to taxi in the gate. It's a little bit of a lengthy taxi, so I'll see you guys at the terminal. Alright guys, we're just about to park up here. Gate 27 is just ahead. So we can get rid of the taxi light. We can turn the transponder off. And we will taxi on in. Here you can see the ground equipment that has been put down for us. And we'll park on up, shut down, and call it a flight. I know I had a good time. Alright, set the parking brake, cut the engines. APU is on and available, APU bleed is on, beacon off, signs off. Get some ground connections down. External power is available, we'll connect it. We can kill the APU, turn off the fuel pumps, and open some doors so that we can deboard. Ooh, we have a moving jetway, nice. Sweet, so the aircraft is shut down, and we are good to go. I can call over GSX to deboard, and they'll do that for us. So yeah, it was a really fun flight, guys. Again, this was requested by Shane, who was watching my Twitch stream a couple nights ago. Fun to fly the A321 from time to time. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. I know it's a little rough in spots. The landing was a little rough. The frames weren't great. Overall, it was kind of a, I guess you could say, a sketchy video. It wasn't perfect, both in terms of the flying and the production and the frames and all that. But hopefully it was enjoyable nonetheless. Try and clean up some of those issues going forward. And yeah, had a lot of fun. So wrap this one up, guys, and I will see you next time around. Take care.